here we are into Game 3 of DNKE versus Willowkeeper, and actually, tag wrong. It is Tree or KOT? I don't know. So of course, Game 3 means 1 versus 1, and we just saw a pretty solid performance there from Willowkeeper, managing to take Game 2 in order to force this Game 3, and they're finally looking for another solid performance to move on to Losers Bracket Round 2 and not get knocked out consecutively in the Sickleton of Diamond Division. Of course, if you have already watched HoNcast, you know whether that happens or not, but I won't say anything because for some reason maybe you haven't. I'd be really kind of surprised if too many people who are watching this haven't already seen that, but hey, there might be one or two of you out there. There might be one or two whole people even watching this. That'd be amazing. So we're going to finish up the banning phase here, and I'm very not surprised that the Grenix ban has come out. Pesty Grenix, so once again Legion team banning Pestilence, which I think we've now seen more often than the Hellborn team, and maybe even more often than not, as it really feels like for some reason this Legion team is not interested in picking up Pestilence. And then, of course, the Grenix ban, because Boxel has played Grenix twice now and done extremely well both times. Boxel banning out Engineer and Tempest. Engie was first picked by DNKE both games, so they clearly value that hero very highly. Of course, Engie's a solid, pretty good hero. They've had one win, one loss with him, but I'm not really sure if he's first pick material anymore. I feel like he's still a good support, but there are other supports that are at least as good as him. Even in that dual mid role, depending on, of course, who his partner is. There's some where Engie's the best, there's some where Engie maybe isn't so much. So I don't really feel like he's first pick material that he absolutely has to get picked up first. So Cersei, actually, we're going to see, as Cersei was banned both times, the last two games, I believe actually by DNKE. So interesting that they choose to pick him up here. Presumably they wanted to use the ban on that Grenix so they couldn't, so that Boxel couldn't grab it and use it to win games, which meant that they couldn't ban Cersei. So now they're taking it probably to take it away from the Hellborn team as much as play it themselves. Cersei, of course, very, very, very good support here. Extremely annoying. Lots of illusions. She's got an invis. The immobilize is decent, but not the greatest. It's much like Glacius is. Except it's a little harder to land because it's not targeted. And, of course, the ultimate basically turns the support hero into the opposing team's carry, or at least a solid hero on the opposing team, depending on who you can really target it on. But that's going to be followed by a Parasite pick on the hand, and then Rhapsody from Boxel. So Rhapsody, one of those heroes that I think really is right up there with Engineer in terms of the best supports in the game, maybe even a little ahead. Parasite, of course, was played last game to pretty solid, effectively. Krake's their jungle player. So he had a solid game there on Parasite, coupling with that Grenix, do quite a lot of burst damage and pick off a number of heroes that really allowed a team that didn't have too much team fight ability to group up and push, giving them that advantageous 4v5, 3v5 type situation where they would win team fights even without a whole bunch of team fight presence, because they didn't really have too many AoE abilities. Of course, they had a Gemini that was approaching 600 GPM by the end of the game, so not sure how much team fight you need when you've got that on your side. The Kraken coming out from DNKE, that's going to be in Chepe's hands. He's their suicide player. We've seen that once before from DNKE, and it was as a suicide, so I assume it's going to be the same here. I don't imagine they're going to run it as a short laner because that really hasn't been their MO. They could, of course. They could even run it as a mid. Prisoner. And now they're not going to run it as a mid because it's Prisoner. So that's going to be a Prisoner mid, probably Kraken Suicide, depending on whether this is second support or a jungle lineup. Either going to be Cersei as a babysitter or as the middle. I assume this is now going to be a second support because I would guess that Boxel over here is going to ban out the rest of the jungle streamers, the rest of the jungle streamers. Yeah, you guys are streaming that's way. The rest of the jungle heroes. As Bubbles gets picked up, presumably if they're suicide lane, although he was run middle, I believe, earlier in this series. So we'll see if that actually comes to pass. The first ban on Gemini from Slaskidrit. Not surprising considering how well that hero did in Marcus Moy's hands last game. I don't think that they really wanted to deal with that again because, you know, it's massively annoying hero. Probably, arguably the best carry in the game. I'm not sure if I put him that far over Moon Queen, maybe even Sand Wraith, depending on how much farm he actually gets, but he's just annoying as all hell because trying to kill a Gemini, especially once he gets farmed, is freaking impossible because between the getaway and the split and then the dual dog, so you do a bunch of damage to one dog and then he focuses right back up and all of a sudden he's at full health or whatever, and then the massive amounts of move speed he gets from Elemental Force just makes trying to kill a Gemini an extremely seriously annoying problem. But clearly Slaskid has a beat on these short lane carries as Willowkeeper is looking to pick one up. Of course, presumably so is DNKE, so we'll see if that strategy actually works out for them because they're banning heroes that they could actually take themselves as a silhouette ban comes out. Voxel on the Hellborn side, understandably banning Ophelia first, trying to take the jungle away from DNKE and use the jungle versus second support lineup to take the advantage, which usually, of course, does have the advantage, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a Keeper of the Forest ban here. Oh, give me Crypt Disciple instead, as both teams apparently are intent on banning out short lane carries. And like I said, that could come back to bite one of them in the ass if you know, there's a first pick Moon Queen or Sand Wraith here from DNKE and there's nothing left on the board for Willowkeeper. You know, you could run something different in that short lane. There's really no shortage of options. There's still Dr. Repulsor's on the board. There's Hag that goes away. Dr. Repulsor, Soul Reaper, Moon Queen, Sand Wraith, hell, even a Torturer, Dark Lady. There's plenty of stuff here that either side could use to run as a short lane carry. So, but taking all the best options, sort of, should be the MO of Voxel over heroes. Once he eliminates all the junglers, I think he should ban his Keeper here because they could still use that. And he would pair probably. He's not that great a pair, I don't think, with the rest of the Hellborn lineup. He does, you know, have that nice ult for Prisoner, and then of course Kraken and Prisoner have some pretty good ult synergy there as he bans out the Moon Queen with his final ban. So lots of carries: Gemini, Ophelia, Silhouette, Corrupted Cycle, Retro Hag, and Moon Queen all hitting the ban. Ophelia really the only hero there that's not a short lane carry, or couldn't really be run as a short lane carry. It's the Master of Arms first pick here from DNKE. I'm gonna guess that's gonna be a support MOA. Could be something else, but presuming that we don't see the Keeper of the Forest or even something strange like a Solstice or a War Beast or even a Blood Hunter pick, as there's a Chronos, that's gonna be a short lane carry for the Hellborn team. Although I believe they've actually run that as a suicide before, which I think is a decent option. It's not the greatest, but of course he has that time leap to get away, and then Rewind can do quite a lot for you if you get lucky. Slither here. So now you actually have some interesting decision making. So are they going to run the Slither as a support or the MOA as a support? I would prefer to see the MOA support. I don't think MOA carry has too much. He doesn't. He's fine, like he's a good hero, and he'll do well if you give him sufficient space to farm and level, but he can also get shut down relatively easily because he's, you know, not that fast. He doesn't have an escape mechanism. He's not particularly tanky, even with a Master's Call, especially with the players on the other team that can steal it. He can go down somewhat quickly, so if he is put in a slightly vulnerable position, then he can get ganked repeatedly. As there's a Soul Stealer, so that's going to be their short laner, especially because Marcus Moireti's up on it, and he is their short lane player, so it's going to be Voxel on that Chronos playing Suicide. Bubbles middle, Kraken on that Parasite in the jungle, and Rhapsody, I assume, is going to be babysitting the Chronos in the short lane, as we almost never see a... sorry, it's going to be babysitting the Soul Stealer in the short lane, as we almost never see a Bubbles paired with another hero. So I'm going to expect on the Legion side, we're going to see Suicide Kraken along with, I guess, Master Prisoner mid. That's probably the best solution there. It has the best kill potential, and Slither, Cersei bottom. Master is heading up top, but Prisoner is heading up top, but I assume that's not going to be a permanent situation. As we see, yes, Soul Stealer running the short lane, along with Parasite to the jungle, Chronos to the bot, ready Suicide, and both Bubbles and Rhapsody hang up here, presumably to scout their own jungle out, maybe get some wards down, prevent their own pull from being warded, as they're probably going to need that. Kraken here is definitely suicide, as he has been pulled some regen from, I believe, from Cersei. Yes. So he's got 6 tangos, which honestly I'm not sure if that's going to be enough, especially if this is babysit support. Rhapsody over here, who could do a lot to harass Kraken out, plus the demon hands coming out, low mana cost, and they're not, they're a little difficult to land, but not that difficult. So they are going to get the ward down here on Legion side as they bring 4 heroes in, only if they want it. Is Cersei going to place a ward? She's got 2. Yes, there it is. So 1 ward goes down. I assume they'll be interested, yes, in warding over here. They actually probably saw that, considering this ward of sight was placed first, but they may not have seen her place it as she was over here, and possibly placed it from fog. Kronos, meanwhile, did also get the ward down, and he might actually look to pull this creep wave, which is probably the right decision, especially because Slither's down here and can't really stop him by herself. Yes, that's what he's going to do. So I like this. He's going to grab this creep wave here, pull it up to the tower, and that's going to give him some pretty good lane control, actually, and should put him in a reasonably good position for his suicide. As actually they're gonna run a man-up tri-lane here, or man-up dual lane, and it's going to be Bubbles in this short lane, so I called these lanes pretty much completely wrong. As Cersei puts the Immobilize onto Bubbles, but really she's taking a lot of damage. She needs to be a little careful here. She doesn't have obviously doesn't have an invis yet because she's got the Immobilize, so she needs to make sure she doesn't die to a Shell Surf. Meanwhile, in middle, we've got Kraken Master of Arms going up against a Soul Stealer, so it's going to be difficult for them to kill him just because he can sit far enough back that he won't take a stun, really, unless Moa gets in like a haste or an invis room. And Marcus Moy should be contested reasonably by this Kraken, but he will be able to put quite a lot of harassment out on him, as we can already see. He's taken quite a bit of damage, deciding to take a tree, as the Vulture Lord Parasite's going to chase down this Master of Arms and try to do something, but he denies the creep instead. And then the bottom, really, it's going to be a solo Slither versus a solo Kronos, and Slither should win this lane, just because the toxicity will eventually give too much, although, wow, that time lock is doing a lot. Oh my god, that's going to be a dead Slither, because Kronos doesn't even have boots. Why is he so fast? Damn. That's what happens, I guess. So there is a little slow at 290 base move speed, so that's going to be a 1 lane here for Boxel now. So that should have been a Slither victory, but Boxel is now easily going to take control of this lane, as Bloodlust, of course, gets him boots, and he has the Iron Shield to prevent a lot of damage. He has pulled a health pod, so he has lots of regen as well. Sorry, as Marcus Moy actually picks off Kraken here. Sorry, no, Master of Arms. No, it is Kraken. So they did switch it in the last second. That's why I should have noticed. Man, a lot of damage here. All 3 Demon's hands hit, and a solid auto attack there. As once on bottom, Rhapsody of the Invis Rune is going to come with Sagato stuns. And that's going to be another dead Slither. Right there. So Boxel's going to get 2 kills, both smackdowns, onto the Chepe here on the solo short laner. So that's another thing to note, that they've switched up their player-hero combinations, or player-lane combinations here a little bit. Chepe is usually their suicide player. He is playing the short lane Slither here, so that's pretty interesting. And it looks like File's going to make his way top to play a suicide Kraken now. And once again, I'm missing middle action, as the Prisoner actually pulls in Marcus Moy, and that's going to kill him.
Sit down, son.
More smackdowns. Lots of smackdowns this game. Always fun. I love the drop and G's, Sean. So this is more similar to the lanes I originally saw coming out with Kraken and Suicide, Prisoner middle, although it's Cersei instead of Master of Arms here. And it looks like Rhapsody will come mid to support this Soul Stealers to make sure he doesn't die, as it doesn't really... It's going to be very difficult for Kraken to kill Bubbles, especially since Bubbles has a lane advantage, or a level advantage. On the bottom, meanwhile, it looks like Kronos is once again chasing down somebody. This time it's Master of Arms. He has a 2-level advantage of both Slither and Moa. Moa's going to have to be down here to babysit this Slither, so I don't think Box will be getting any more kills than any support, but, you know, he's basically at this point won his lane, and he's going to jump onto Master, and I don't know what the hell's going on here. He just used his time leap, and they're not deciding to try to initiate on him. A little interesting. He's going to get a bottle delivered, and he's going to take a chug right there, and jump onto this Slither again. No, he's going to jump onto box. Onto this Master of Arms. He has a time leap up, and he actually could just man up and kill this Moa, I think, pretty easily. Yep. Does a lot of damage.
Serial killer.
There. Time lock going on to Slither, and he's just going to go for the bot rune now, I think. Grab his bottle, finish off those charges, get this refreshment, come back to lane with full health and full mana, and possibly even reinitiate on the Slither. Up on top, meanwhile, Kraken is supporting out, and that's not going to be enough to stop him with the Demon Hands. The little Staccato Stuns were already used. As he gets pulled in on top of the Master of Arms Stone and the Shackle, and he is going to fall here, even with the Staccato Stuns onto Master, I think. Yep, there it is. Fork Lightning comes out. On the other hand, Leech onto Master of Arms, and a stun onto Parasite, so he's... Is he going to save himself? Yes, he will. Health bot last second.
Ultimate Warrior.
And boy, what a surprise. Like I said, that was going to happen as Cronus decides to chase down this
Ultimate Warrior. Smackdown.
Slither and kill him again. So Boxel's just having a hell of a time in this bottom lane. He's 4-0-0, 399 gold per minute. So it's a pretty good suicide. So we've really seen impressive plays from him all 3 games here in this series, as now we've rotated Bubbles mid. So that's, again, more of what I was expecting. Babysit support Rhapsody with the Soul Stealer on top lane. Kraken middle, trying to do something to Bubbles, but not going to be enough. Of course, he still has a Shell Surf buff, so Shell Surf up. So not going to be dying there. As on bottom lane, Kronos is now chasing down Cersei as the illusion goes out, and he's going to kill the illusion as Cersei invisibly runs away. He does have an ult, sorry. Time Leap goes up onto Cersei again, and the Bubbles is coming in to presumably kill this Slither, and there's the kill on Cersei as the Shell Surf hits due to the Poison Spray not allowing Kronos to kill him. Parasite's going to chase down these Master of Arms illusions, and will get the kill on one with a stomp, but of course they're just illusions, so who cares. Kronos, meanwhile, going to grab bot rune in a couple of seconds, regen right up, and another refreshment. So, a bit unfortunate on the rune lock for him, but you know, I don't think he's complaining too much. He's got 4 kills and 1 assist. Not really a huge problem. Up on top lane, Rhapsody is basically preventing this prisoner from initiating on Soul Stealer again, as both heroes are level 6, and I think if prisoner pulls Soul Stealer in again, he's just going to get ulted. Skeleton King coming in here from Parasite as the net goes off, and in middle we're going to get a kill onto Kraken. We'll watch that in a second. Kronos ultimate comes out, and nice time lock there as he picks off Kraken. So Kronos just now running around the map and wrecking everybody's face, as it looks like Bubbles is sort of going to transition into a suicide here now that Slither's been effectively shut down. Bubbles can have free farm and bot as Kronos really roams the map and looks for kills on everything. He's going to pick up this haste rune on top that's been sitting there for 45 seconds, which is way too long. Dinosaur on top as they're trying to put some pressure on this top tower. They're not going to kill it, but there's a hasted Kronos who's going to run into Master of Arms. That's going to be a dead Moa.
You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, we don't care. Shell Surf comes in, Kelpfield onto Kraken, and now he's going to die.
I'm free at last.
Up on top, we see the Prisoner ultimate going down as the top tower gets denied. Where's Kraken? There he is. There's another kill. So, top tower was denied, but nobody dies. There, Hellborn's Curry actually gets killed. It's a little unfortunate, but 450 gold per minute on Kronos. They're okay with that. This is pretty much just a massive lead here for the Hellborn side. 5k gold, 6.5k experience. It's pretty embarrassing at this point. Chepan Slither is just trying to get free farm down here, but he's sitting at 175 to 180 gold per minute. 190 gold per minute on Kraken. Really, Prisoner's the only one that's having even a decent time at 290. On the other side, we've got Kronos up at 450, Soul Stealer at 350, Parasite at 320, Bubbles at 274. So really, almost everybody on this Hellborn team's outfarming almost everybody on this Legion side, so things going pretty terribly here for the DNKE squad, as this Suicide Kronos has basically just done a ton of work. He looks like he's trying to come bot again. He's got nothing in his bottle, but the turn is not top, actually. Somebody must have picked it up. Finally, that's good. Possibly even the Soul Stealer. No, he did not. Or he might have. Sorry. In middle, Kronos is actually going to get charged in with Kraken, and that's going to be a big problem. The Energizer comes out from Kronos, and there's multiple heroes coming in here, but the Chronofield comes out. Is that going to be killing Kraken? No. He's going to have to run away. He's not going to be able to. Oh, there it is, actually, the time leap, as the shackle just wears off. So he will survive with almost nothing. Parasite comes in. I'm not sure what the plan is there. As he gets hooked right back in, and now he's going to die.
You're not going anywhere.
So, prevents the Cersei Immobilized from coming out with a face hug, but of course Master still has a stun. Kelfield coming out here at a prisoner, but once again, not really sure why. As actually he goes in, and now Bubbles is in a fair bit of trouble. Staccato something about a prisoner, and he's going to die. So actually, he covered the Immobilized there from Cersei, and Kronos is right back in here. Time leap on the Master of Arms. He's dead. Cersei's going to need to invis herself, but she can't because she doesn't have any mana. And she's going to S2 her way through the trees here, actually. As Kronos is in a bit of trouble, and might either need to get denied. Yeah, he's going to need to get denied. Or there's the Rhapsody ult. Well done. So that's going to save his life. Kraken's looking for an opening here, but isn't going to find one. Charges in, Shell Surf from Bubbles, that's going to prevent Splash Auto attack from coming in. As actually Kronos just heals up a little bit, Energizer on top of the Time Leap, and there's a dead Kraken. So Boxel now has 9 kills. 9-0-1. And he's just wrecking face. Still at 450 gold per minute, not really farming so much as farming heroes. And I think they're pretty okay with that on the Hellborn side. They're not really super concerned about him getting CS as long as he's sitting at 400 plus gold per minute. And the other team is really now even lower than they were, with only Prisoner being above 200 gold per minute, 266, and that's of course lower than he was earlier. As Kronos has an Invis rune and will look to initiate here, I think, on one of these heroes. But he's got quite a lot of contention as both Kraken, Prisoner, and Cersei are here. They're going to open the illusion. The hook actually comes in on top of the shackle. The Chronofield goes off, but it's not enough to stop the tower damage. And is he going to live here? God, he might actually live with the bottle charges. He's got Time Leap up in 2 seconds. And he's gone. So, once again, living life on the edge here. The Chronofield does not hit the tower, but it's still enough to prevent the damage from coming out from both Cersei and Prisoner, and that's going to be alive. As Parasite opens up here with Staccato Suns from Rhapsody, that's going to be a dead Master.
I'm free at last.
Up on top, we're going to see Soul Stealer go down to the Kraken ult and the Prisoner ult. Soul Burst goes off and nearly kills Prisoner, but not quite enough. So Marcus Moyes not having the greatest game here at 2-3-0, but it doesn't really matter because Boxel on that secondary carry, or really now primary carry of Kronos, is doing a lot of work. It looks like he is going for that Elder Parasite, which is a pretty solid choice, I think. It's really very common. Of course, you drop that Chronofield, you don't care about increased damage because nobody's really attacking you. And this mid tower is going to go down, whether it's going to be denied or not. It is denied. Nice deny from their Hartrier. So their bot is in trouble as both Bubbles and Kronos are jumping him. There's the Kelp Field, and that's a dead Slither now. As the Energizer goes off, and the Poison Spray, I believe, does hit along with Poison Burst, but he doesn't really care.
Nemesis.
Kraken comes in a little late, not nearly enough time to kill this Kronos or really even do anything, as there is a regen room bot that Kronos will bottle up. Bubbles and Parasite taking the jungle here. They have Kraken a little boxed in. Yep, he's in a lot of trouble. Prisoner's coming in as well, but whether they'll choose to initiate here, I don't know. Parasite and Cersei find each other. Shackle goes off onto Kronos, and he's going to get hooked right back in. Immobilized from Cersei misses, as he's actually going to steal Kronos and put the Chronofield down, and now Kronos is in a fair bit of trouble. The second Chronofield goes off, and that's going to catch pretty much everybody as Slither actually runs around the side of it, but pretty much everybody's slowed down enough for the entire Legion team to escape. The second time Lee comes out from Cersei, but it's followed by another one from the actual Kronos. So solid ult there from Cersei taking over Kronos, trying to get something for her team, but you know, just not able to. Kronos once again escaping with relatively little health. He isn't really being punished at all for any of these transgressions, so to speak. And bot tower is going to be pushed in here by all 5 heroes in the Legion team. But there is a defense here with 4 heroes from the Hellborn coming in, and there's Staccato stuns on the fake Kraken. Stuff of Revelation goes out, and Master can take a bit of harass along with Kelfield, and he's in a bit of trouble here as the ultimate goes off on him, and he's gonna die. There it is. On the other hand, there's the Rhapsody ultimate preventing Soulstealer from doing anything, and there goes the ultimate SS. Now they're in tons of trouble here on Legion's side. Soulstealer will eventually go down, and there goes Prisoner. So full genocide here for the Legion team, or in favor of the Hellborn team, really. Soulstealer is the only one that goes down. Great Rhapsody out there to save SS from dying, really, as he certainly would have. Masterform just porting into this bot tower, and he should be careful here because there's still quite a lot of Hellborn presence that could take him out. It looks like Legion's interested in defending this here, and they only see 2 here. I don't think Parasite or Rhapsody saw that Kraken come in. Another port, as Kraken's probably going to drop an ultimate here on top of, or he would if he had it. As the charge actually misses, and Staccato stuns hit as well, and the Poison Spray misses, so that's nothing. Cersei running right into Parasite here, as he will chase her down and see what information he can get. There are 3 heroes here. There goes the Kronos, and there's the ultimate. That's not surprising. Immobilize on a Kronos, but that's not going to be enough to save Kraken. Poison Spray hits too, but not going to do a lot of damage here, as Cersei's going to once again take over Kronos and jump in, but a Chronofield actually misses as Kronos time leaps away. Kelfield goes onto 2. Cersei and Slither, whereas Rhapsody dies on the side, but we'll see if this fake Kronos can actually do much. Time leap onto Parasite as Cersei's illusion just wears off. Leech onto Prisoner. Bubbleson's in a bit of trouble here, looking for the hook.
The Hellborn
takes down the top secondary tower. Cersei immobilized is going to miss. That is relatively easy to dodge. Nice hook comes in on top of the Shell Serpent. She goes down. Kronos is back there, going to kill Prisoner. Except Prisoner's ult goes off. That's going to cause a stun effect. So is he going to kill anybody, or is he just going to chase everything down? Cersei once again missing with the immobilize. And Slither, it looks like, now is going to be the dead hero if he can find him. There he is. So actually, Voxel here is 1 kill away from Immortal. And to be honest with you, I'm not that surprised. I wouldn't be that surprised if the Legion side just CCs this. Like, I don't think they've got much of a chance here. I mean, we're only 16 minutes in, and they could maybe try to recover, but look, they've got no towers dead, and the Hellborn has taken 4 towers, and they're about to take a 5th. Kronos is on a 14-0-5 streak at 465 gold per minute. They've got a 2nd carry in Soulstealer over 400 gold per minute. Nobody on the Legion side is over 300 GPM, and only one is over 200. And it's not like Prisoner's going to carry here. You know, they really need that Slither to show up and do something, maybe even a Kraken, but it's not going to be Prisoner that's going to end up carrying this team, so they're once again running through the jungle because they basically can do whatever they want on the Hellborn side, and they might find this Moa and or Prisoner. Kronos and Rhapsody are going to kill the small camp. Kratos is going to run right into 2 of them, and boy, that's going to be a problem for him. Cersei takes over Kronos, but the Chrono Field is actually not going to kill Kronos. There goes Prisoner. Kronos is trapped by the Poison Chrono Field, but he's pretty much just doing whatever he wants. Poison Burst comes out. Rhapsody ult's going to prevent him from dying as he time leaps away. Rhapsody's going to fall for that, but the Soul Burst comes out and takes out Cersei. So they're over here is in a lot of trouble. And he's going to die. Actually, Voxel gets taken down by Slither's dot, so 1 more kill away from the Immortal. Over here, actually, Parasite's going to get pulled in, and he's going to die. Soul Slither took out Kraken over here. That wasn't very surprising. So we heard GG's called, but it's clearly a fake CC. Bubbles won't get pulled in, and he might get shackled here if he's not careful. Not going to. Kronos is coming right back. He did buy out. A little interesting. And Soul Stealer's in a bit of trouble,
This time.
and he's probably going to die here. Yeah, down goes Prisoner, or Soul Stealer, sorry.
You're not going anywhere.
And now Kronos is in a lot of trouble as well. She's demobilized from Cersei actually hits him. He does have a time leap, there it is. He probably need to get over that cliff, but he still will survive, I think, barring the hook coming out, which will not hit, just barely missing. So Kronos will live. He won't buy out and die immediately. That would be pretty terrible. But a decent fight there from the Legion. I mean, they managed to get a couple of kills. They did use 2 buyouts of their own, so not really sure if they won it. I really don't think they did, in fact. They're still addressing the Soul Stealer to some extent. He is 7-5-3, but he's been saved a few times by this Rhapsody ultimate, and allowing him to get a bunch of damage off and therefore a bunch of kills. This Kronos going to jump in here onto Cersei, and boy, that's a dead Cersei. Kraken can do nothing but sit and watch. With that Elder Parasite, he can basically just use his ult to automatically get a kill on Cersei.
Get back here.
The Rip's going to come in on top of Kraken ultimate, but he's got a haste, so he doesn't care. Up top, Bubbles is farming, and we're seeing some Ancients getting done by Soul Stealer and Rhapsody. As Kronos goes to the top rune, and it looks like bot refreshment rune will be bottled up by Soul Stealer right before he despawns. It appears they're interested in killing his prisoner, and they clearly are. There's a time lock and the leech. The ultimate coming out from Prisoner, actually a little interesting that Parasite didn't use the face hug earlier, but Marcus Mike comes in with a cleanup. As 3 heroes from the Hellborn team converge to get the kill on the Prisoner, making sure he doesn't cross that 300 GPM mark. Bot lane is getting pushed in, but Rhapsody will address that with her dance floor, as she gets quite a few creep kills there. It looks like Legion's grouping up for a mid-tower push. They don't have Prisoner, and they sort of need him. I don't think that they can really do this without that. Convor is being attempted here by the Hellborn team, and they will get it because there's a DD Soul Stealer who has 475 gold per minute, as his farm has gotten really way up there. Kronos able to tank everything. As it looks like Legion team's pretty much just done with this. And to be honest with you, I'm not really sure why they're still in it. They're down by 20k on both sides, as the Shell Surf Song of the Sea comes in, and there's a Kelp Field in a trap. Cersei, there's Cersei's dead. Chronofield probably unnecessary, but hey, might as well. Love that DJ Rhapsody. I want that ult. Acid Bomb coming out from Master trying to stop a push here. I don't think it's going to be too effective. And Soul Stealer can just clean up the waves, and they have so much damage on this tower. Acid Bomb once again, but this is going to be a dead mid tower as Soul Stealer just hits like a boss. 200 damage at the top end, and he doesn't even have many damage items. The Shrunken had a portal key, really, to make sure his Soul Burst goes off, but that's not exactly helping his auto attack damage. It is a little bit. 16 plus 16 damage. Let's say 4 damage. But of course, most of his damage is coming from his souls, where he gets something like plus 60. Items real fast. Master of Arms is very sad because all he has is Striders and a couple Miter Totems. That's pretty ugly. So they've just got the Steam Boost, Energizer, Power Supply, and Alchemist Investments, so really 223 gold per minute. Not pretty. Kraken has Steam Boost Bottle and a Stout Shield and Mist Investments, so once again not very pretty. Parasite's going to get pulled in here, and he's going to get taken out because nope, he can actually infest his Puzzle Box Wizard and run away. Kraken ultimate comes out and does nothing. So I guess this is the strategy on Hellborn's side, get them to use they want to get Kraken. Hey Cersei, considering how many of your immobilizes you've missed, I'm not sure if you should be saying that there, buddy. You've missed a lot of them. Anyway, speaking of Kraken, his items aren't really impressive. Cersei, of course, against Striders and Mystic Vestments. Not too much there. Prisoner 945 got a Mighty Blade on top of the Scene Boost bottom Mystic Vestments, so I guess he's going for a Shrunken as the cup pulls nobody. Minotaur stomps Kraken, and they might look to jump this. He's going to charge away. Cersei's just sitting back here going, please don't notice me. Chrono Wheel comes out as Kraken's going to die and it's going to catch Master of Arms. They're actually not going to kill him. Really just a rocket team. Cersei grabs the Soul Stealer and puts the Shrunken Head down on top of the Soul Stealer ultimate, but that's not going to be enough. As Cersei falls here.
You're not going anywhere.
Massacre.
Get back here.
Another Ball and Chain is pulled in. So there's 2 heroes dead now on the Legion side and another ultimate. Both of them have no ultimate. Prisoner ultimate going down, and it's going to hit nobody as everybody manages to run out of it. Bubbles is going to fall, but there's the Soul Burst for Soul Stealer, doing not that much damage actually, as a Shackle pulls in 3. Kronos is going to die, thanks mostly to Slither, I think. I don't know if Slither really wants to be killing this minion. Mr. Parasite's going to run it away. And he could be in a bit of trouble as Kraken is going to charge forward. He's got an ult, but here comes the rest of the Hellborn team once again. Actually, as Soul Stealer's in a bit of trouble here. He is going to die to use the token, though. Prisoner's going to die along with Kraken. Bubbles Shell Surf Sports in. There's Master in a lot of trouble. Cersei ultimate, or Immobilize actually hits, but Staccato stuns on top of Master, and he's dead. There's another CC code on top of Legion, so we'll see if this actually passes. I can't imagine it. I don't understand why they're still in this game. Like, there's such a massive lead here for Hellborn. They're basically just throwing. As they finally find the real bubble, or the real Slither here.
Defeat.
There's the game. So,
Hellborn wins.
really a thorough wipe of the Legion side by Willowkeeper here on the Hellborn team. Excellent, excellent play from Boxel on that Suicide Chronos, grabbing almost an immortal streak and really putting this game away for Hellborn. Marcus Mohan, Soul Stealer had a decent time, but not the greatest in the world, I wouldn't say. So, you know, he ended up being a better farmer than Chronos did, but Chronos is really a lot of the reason he was able to do that, because he was getting shut down pretty good in the early game. I think pretty solid drafts with both sides. Hellborns ended up being clearly a little bit better, and they did outplay, I believe, their opponents, but other interesting thing was that I don't think really either team stuck to their traditional lanes, and that did favor Legion in the early game, except for the fact that Chronos just wrecked that Slither. I don't know why Slither was so short. That made very little sense to me. I think if they had put another hero down there with her, then Chronos wouldn't have been able to do what he did, and that really could have turned the whole game around. So I'd say questionable lane decisions coming out there from Legion's side. Probably did more damage than they helped, but in any case, really, really good play from Willowkeeper, and that's game 3. So they will move on to Losers Bracket round 2, and actually I don't think we'll see them later because HoNcast covered that match. So goodbye for now.